Shwmai, and welcome to Two Welsh Dads, the podcast where two proud Welsh fathers talk life, parenting, and everything in between. Today, we've got a wonderful guest. His name is Stephen Rule, and you might know him as Doctor Cymraeg. Shwmai, Doctor Cymraeg, how are you? It is wonderful to see you.
To my gentleman, you big me up far too much there. Everybody needs to lower their expectations immediately. But diolch yn fawr nonetheless, buddy.
Are you expecting some WWE entrance music then?
You can't see me.
I'm just glad this is a podcast and people can't see me, to be honest. But yeah, fair play.
No, thank you very much for coming on and agreeing. I thought, well, I've been a big follower of you for a while as a scientist with O'r. I remember the first video I saw was you. Well, you've done multiple ones on that kind of root gwydd in the Welsh gwydd on earth, and yeah, fascinates me to this day. But I also saw a video on your YouTube channel about talking to babies in Welsh. So you're obviously a dad. How many kids do you have?
I've got two now as of 4.5 months ago. So I've got Bedwyr, who's 5.5. Although I'm obliged by my wife to say he is still only 5 because she doesn't want to age him, even though he is 5.5, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
And Owie is I'm going to say 4 months, even though he's 4.5 months, because again, man will shout at me. But yeah, no, do you know what? You mentioned that video, and I've forgotten about it for so long because it came before any of this content I do nowadays, and it was sort of my first dive into putting a camera in front of my face and believing that people would be silly enough to want to listen to me. And well, like I said before, is I grew up completely speaking English. The village was, English speaking. My home life, my school, my friends, it was all through the medium of English. I didn't even know Welsh existed, to be honest. But then when I sort of fell in love with Cymraeg and stuff like that, I knew that if I was ever lucky enough to have small humans in the future, I would definitely only speak Cymraeg with them. And and then because I'd never had a childhood through Welsh, you'll be surprised that GCSE, A-level, and a degree in second language Welsh, none of which teach you how to speak to children. So, so to hear my wife, who's a native Welsh speaker, use these little phrases across which I'd never come before, it was bonkers. And I just thought, do you know what? I could say a sentence to my children, but those little intricate bits like "get down" or "I need that, please," or "come here," or whatever else. All those little words like that you just think, would I have been too formal in the way I'd done it because I've learnt the language? So I just thought, do you know what? Even whether it's filling in the gaps for somebody or whether it's helping people start off, I just thought these are cool little ways people can just get a bit of Cymraeg with their little ones. And that's how it started. And I'd forgotten about it until now, Glyn, and you bring it back up. But diolch anyway.
A pleasure. Deep dive into the archive for me.
I know, and that's what worries me, Glyn, if I'm honest. The fact if you delve in that far, I mean, I'm regularly DBS checked for my profession, so you're not going to find anything too bad. But I am worried about some sort of old videos you're going to find of me. I don't know, doing a voiceover of "Take That" or something like that, and I'm just thinking those days are gone now. Let's not dig any deeper than that. And nobody needs to see that.
So I've got a question, Steve.
Please.
Roughly, you mentioned, you went through school through English medium and also university as well. When did you learn how to speak Welsh?
Oh, mate, I'm still learning, mate. I think I'm still learning English, if I'm honest. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'd probably say I probably admitted whatever fluency means in about, I don't know, when I was about 19, 20. That was when I I was realizing I was understanding about 90% of what I was hearing, and I was able to at least give something back, you know.
What was the trigger then that made you think, right, I'm gonna
Don't know what it
do
was.
this?
I think it was more of a retrospective thing. I remember I
Yeah.
try to listen to Raja Cymru, and look, what I now realize is the worst way to try and learn a language, because it could be in a dialect you don't know. They're speaking a lot quicker than you. You may have
Mm,
joined halfway through and you have no idea what they're talking about. They're not including you, and you can't see
yeah.
their body language. So it's the worst way to try and learn a language. But I would try and listen to Raja Cymru, and mostly it would just be like, I'm never going to learn this language.
No, it's all
And
very
then
monotone as
no, and
well.
it was, and yeah, and I love the radio station. Don't get me wrong, but it was hard to try and get into that. And I left it for about 6 months, and I carried on with my degree and speaking to friends in Wales, stuff like that. And I remember just skipping through some radio channels about 6 months later, and I left Raja Cymru on. And after about 10 minutes of driving, I literally understood everything. And I remember that feeling. It was like, am I what? I feel like the Matrix is just plugged in some sort of. It honestly felt like, but it was obviously a process. But like to hear I was like, why? What? Why am I allowed? Why am I hearing? Why am I understanding this? And it blew my mind, to be honest.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've carried on from then to the point where now I annoy people every 2 or 3 days on social media, and that's what it's led to, boys.
Uh,
Wow,
no,
that's a cool story. Yeah. Well, I think, you've done so many wonderful videos from what I've seen, and it's
Yeah,
obviously
man.
helped so many people. So it's amazing, in fact.
Oh,
Yeah.
Matt, stop it now. Hey, I told you went big on the
Honestly,
introduction. I said tone it
honestly, I'm
down.
still going big.
Steph,
I'm
you're
still
still
going
going
big.
big, man.
We haven't reached the top yet.
Oh,
Yes.
I reached that a while back. It's yeah, the pinnacle was a long time ago. So diolch yn fawr. No, honestly, it is lovely, genuinely lovely to hear. And yeah, it's while I'm still enjoying it, and while people are still enjoying it, I think it's healthy that I continue. And I've still got other things I'd like to say. I know one day it won't be, and that's okay. But while it's still there, I'll carry
Enjoying
on
it.
for a little bit longer, I think.
Good man. That's what we like to hear. Long live Doctor Cymraeg, I'd say.
Ah, diolch, guys.
Ah.
it,
So
I
tell me
think
more about this gwydd. You mentioned gwyddoniaeth. Gwydd
Yes.
being am I right in saying root? I'm wrong. Glyn,
Yeah. No,
Steve,
it's about
help
right,
me
isn't
out
it, Glenn?
here.
yeah, I'd say it's the root of that word and many others. Like
Uh-huh.
I'm
I guess
fascinated.
many.
Stefan asks me this all the time, and I'm
Well,
just like, just look at it. It's there. It's in Dragwyddol. It's in Arwyddfa. It's in Gwyddoniaeth.
yeah,
It's in Derwydd. It's in all the trees. It's in
all
nature.
the trees.
It's cool.
Like,
I mean,
wow.
How come I've
Gwyddeleg.
never thought about
No,
this?
and that's but
Gwyddelig.
the thing
Yeah.
is,
I have literally never thought about this in my
but I'm the
life
same in
until you mentioned
English.
it. Yeah,
I'll finally come
mm,
across something, and I'll be like, why have
that's
I
it.
never seen that before? But what's beautiful is that it is all this. It's nature at its core. And I
Yeah,
love that about Cymraeg. And I,
true.
yeah, and
I've
there's
noticed
some
that.
sort of yeah, some sort of
Yeah.
even the sciences and all these philosophies are all rooted in Gwydd,
Hmm,
in its wildness, in this old
true.
Welsh word of what, like we are wild creatures, and sometimes we have to embrace that a bit. Um, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not just Cymraeg. It's as lovely as it is. I mean, we've got the phrase "dod at fy nghoed," to come to my trees, that means to come to my senses. But have you heard in English to take stock? Well,
Mm.
stukas is a Proto-Germanic word that means tree stump. So to take stock of something is to take the trunk of something. So
Oh.
we're not the only absolute geniuses around here, but
Yeah, I like it
the
though.
Germanic people are pretty good too. But yeah, it is that feeling of nature being a big part of what we should be, and nature has helped me being a dad, really, and not just being with them in nature, but allowing myself to enjoy nature as well. Because we spoke before and talking about how selfish you can often feel, even if you want to give yourself 5 minutes to maybe analyze your own performance of being a dad that day, or you just want to think, 5 minutes to myself, and halfway through that, you're thinking, how selfish am I for wanting to give myself some time?
Yeah.
And that's something with which I've struggled. But but nature's definitely been a big part of that for me. And like we spoke before about just going for a walk, and it just seems like I'm not going for a walk. What's the point in that?
Mm.
And then you do it, and you think, I
I feel
needed
so much
that.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah, big time. Nature is so underrated, and I think it does wonders for your mental health. So yes, I would encourage everyone
totally
out
agree.
there. Yes, get out there, do some walking, get out there into nature.
And also, if
Agreed.
you're a father of a baby, trees, rustling leaves, amazing baby sensory.
Mm.
That's what I found. You
Don't be
just
giving me like, where were
put
you
them in the
4 months
pram.
ago? But Glenn, you've just blown my mind. I'm glad I've heard it now. I mean, you're 4 months too late for one of them and 5.5 years late on the other one. But either way, well hwyr na hwyrach. Better late than later, as we say in Gymraeg. And so I'll give you a solid 9 out of 10. But I'm knocking a mark off because of how late you were. Where were you 5 years ago, Glenn?
I only, well, to be fair, I only discovered it just if it, well, talking about finding time for yourself. When I had a newborn, I just like going for walks, and it tended to be in nature, even if it was just park or anywhere.
Yeah,
But on
Mm.
the occasional, well, I shouldn't say occasional since we're in a heat wave, but on those sunny days, we could just lie in the grass and they'd be in the pram next to you, and you'd just be looking up. And I was like, "Oh yeah, that's what you're looking at." And it was just that fascinating
it's true
moment of going,
actually. What are you fascinated about?
Mm.
And then you find yourself fascinated. The only thing is, I'm a bit fuming because I suffer from hay fever and I get a bit of a rash when I lie in the grass. So enjoy that, Glenn. Thanks for rubbing that in, mate.
just rubbing that in your nose there. So
I've
nature, but
noticed.
be
I've noticed.
wary. Take antihistamines.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Something I don't do enough of is look up into the sky, looking at the clouds. But yeah, come to think of it, these babies, they know what they're doing.
They
The
do,
sky
man.
is beautiful. Yeah,
It's they
definitely.
I, there's a lot of wisdom in them
There
small
is, isn't there?
humans.
They know
We
what they're
need to
doing.
start. We need to start listening to them. We talk about
Get back to
getting young
basics.
people into politics. Never mind that. Get babies into politics, mate. They'll just laugh at each other and smile. I'm like, why can't we all do
Yeah,
that? Just be kind.
bring back the innocence.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Exactly. Where did that go?
Mm, true that. True that.
Sorry to drag the subject back off gwyddoniaeth or science, but
Uh,
I was mostly fascinated with just saying, I guess people come to the language in lots of different ways, either coming back to the language or maybe you become a parent and you're surrounded by Welsh schools and there's that choice. I've spoken to people, and I often see like um Facebook groups saying, "Oh, my child's going to Welsh school. Does anyone have any kind of hints and tips?" And I thought you would be ideal to kind of give a little bit of inspiration because it is a daunting thing to be. Um,
It's daunting for me as now self-confessed Welsh speaker, former learner, yes, but it
yeah,
is daunting. I mean, in the same way as it's daunting to send them to an English school, you're allowed to be nervous about it. But I
exactly.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, I don't know. I think it is something that we don't talk about enough, and these are questions that people have that don't go answered. And I know Welsh medium school places are filling up more and more and
Mm.
more all the time. We are really heading towards a bilingual nation, which is incredible, and it will be incredible. We might be the last generation where, you know, it's most of us are not bilingual because it's coming. But I still think and one of the little cliches that I do on social media now with Doctor Cymraeg is I'll say it is just as important to talk about Welsh as it is to talk in it. And I think that goes for everything with people who are considering Welsh medium education, whether they went to it themselves or not. Um, Go and talk to somebody about it. And it's fine if they want to talk you out of it. That's okay. But have those conversations. It's okay to want to know what happens. And yeah, I mean, I would maybe I should do a video or something like that, shouldn't I? About have you thought about this? If you're lucky enough to be a parent, or you're lucky enough to be becoming a parent, um, you know, have you thought about this? And even though I didn't have Welsh medium education myself, and it's it is a scary thing for everybody, and you're already trying to deal with being a flipping parent anyway. Never mind
Mm,
going, there's a lot, mate, a lot to take in, and yeah, I think we need to have a chat about it a bit more, don't you think?
I think
definitely.
one other thing that I love about your social media posts about the Welsh language is you highlight that the similarities that we just don't have the same viewpoint about the English language, that there is different dialects, and also it's an evolution, right? None of us talk Elizabethan English, none of us talk Victorian English, and Welsh is exactly the same, right? It's evolving. So there's, I don't know the Welsh, the Queen's Welsh, although we won't say that, but that idea of perfect Welsh versus
Let's not
perfect
bring politics
English.
into this, Glyn. No, but
That
you are exactly right.
Queen's Will.
I've written something that I'd like to turn into a video pretty soon, and I mentioned
mm,
William Morgan's Bible, which I actually saw about a month ago.
oh
So
well.
1588 it was commissioned by Queen Elizabeth. If you want to bring royalty into it,
Mhm.
mate. But do not tell me on a pew somewhere in, I don't know, Welsh Pool or in Llanrhaeadr y Mochnant or whatever you want to do, right? Where people first heard Bible readings in Welsh from the Bishop William Morgan. Do not tell me that someone on those pews was at the back row going, "That's not the Welsh I use," and kicked off a little bit, going, "Hold on. Are you trying to modernize our language? How dare you?" Now we would look
Mm.
at that sort of level of Cymraeg and think that's the pinnacle. Don't tell me 500 years ago people were going, "Oh, how dare you make it so, it's so Latinized. How dare you? We don't speak like this." It really does my head in when native speakers say, "Stop trying to, did you just say cwcio instead of coginio?" Yeah, I did, mate. And what? Like, Welsh is like 70% Latin anyway. You didn't care about that, did you? Let's just lower the temperature. There's plenty of other things in life that are difficult. Let's just be
Yeah.
nice to each other and just be kind. And that's
Be
the
kind.
message. Just be kind to each other. Be yn garedig, please.
Yeah. I
Because
feel like
life's hard enough.
I feel like sometimes people who do speak Welsh sometimes do feel the pressure to get the Welsh perfect, and then they're more likely not to speak Welsh just because they're worried about not getting the Welsh perfect.
No, and do you know what? If that's how you feel, fine. But then come and speak English to me, and I will rip your English apart.
Yeah.
Oh, did you just end a clause without a preposition? You fiend! You know, I will rip it apart, and then hold on a minute. Do you just spell practice with a C? This is not a noun, darling. This is a verb. You know,
Yeah.
I will. Was that what was that? Should have? Sit down. Like should have, my darling. It's a perfect conditional. Um, you want me to like? Oh, but fine. So I'm not going to take your fluent in English badge away from you. Like
Yeah.
the amount of times I've made hiccups in my English in this very conversation with you, lovely fellas, is unreal. But apparently, I'm still allowed to carry on with that. Get over ourselves.
Mm.
If we do not get over ourselves, Welsh dies. Okay, so that's how it is. Like we have an inferiority complex and it comes from trauma, but a lot of it is self-inflicted. We need to take a minute, look at ourselves, just like we do when we think about, the children we're doing our best to raise, where we have a minute and say, did I do okay today? We need to look at ourselves with our relationship with Welsh as well and say, get over that inferiority complex. Because if we start treating it like crystal,
Yeah.
it will break. If we start treating it like clay and ripping it up and throwing it on the floor and molding it and mashing it, and we start flirting and swearing and doing all this stuff in Welsh, then it's alive, boys. Then it's alive. And we have a right to speak Welsh however we want. If I want to make a new word up in Welsh, I will. If I want to, if I want my Welsh sentence to sound a little bit more anglicised, I will do that because I have the right to do that. So do learners. So does anyone who has any relationship with Welsh. We have the right to do that. And so go and Go and throw Welsh against the wall. Go and rip it and stand on it and stamp on it and throw it and rebuild it however you want, because it belongs to you. And the moment you start enjoying that, gents, I think we'll be okay.
Wow.
Rant over.
Passionate subject we touched on
Good
there.
though.
Yeah, you saw me coming, didn't you?
No, it's so important to talk, because I think that kind of that hesitation of, will they be able to learn Welsh? I hear that a lot. Will their Welsh be good enough? That is really important. I think that comes from people who can speak Welsh, and
Mm,
people who perhaps don't speak Welsh, but they're thinking about sending their children to a Welsh
yeah.
school. And it's so important to go that, there's so many different ways to to talk Welsh. And we do already, when we talk to people from the Gogledd in North Wales and then South
Yeah.
Wales, and then regionally, there's differences, massive differences
Yeah.
in
I do not speak the
Ceredigion.
same language as my wife, and
Yeah,
we're both Northerners.
yeah.
I do not speak
Mm.
the same language, and it's amazing actually. My son will speak differently to both of us depending on who he's speaking to, and
No
it's
way.
incredible. And yeah, oh, it's incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he'll say can for his mum, and then he'll come to me. He goes, "Daddy, tisha kaken." I'm like, yeah, ois please, diolch, mate. And he will change between each one,
Wow.
which is just absolutely
That is
mind blowing.
cool.
But we
That is
just need to
cool.
talk about it a bit more, and in the same vein about being a dad, and it's such an awful cliche, but I hate it when cliches are so true. But just it's it is an absolute strength, not a weakness, to share with somebody else, and even if for a while that someone else is just yourself. And do you know what? Even a flipping I don't care, right? Just get your ideas out somewhere on paper in your own head. Talk out loud when you go for a walk. I used to pretend I was on a radio show, and someone would ask me about learning Welsh or being a dad and stuff like that, and I just talk to myself. And do you know what? It was so liberating to
Mm.
just. I mean, there is a problem. There is an issue of perhaps being you know, aggrandizing yourself when you don't deserve to, or putting yourself down when you don't deserve it and stuff. So it is important to talk to other people, but at least knowing how you want to talk to other people and preparing for that. There's therapy in that as well, I think. And it's the same with the Welsh language. Just talk to people and be kind.
I think that's
That's
good.
amazing
Good advice.
comparison. Yeah, I've never thought of it in the same kind of way. Because, yeah, totally right when it comes to like therapy and just saying things out loud, even if it is to yourself.
Hmm?
There's a power there,
Oh my
an
gosh, yeah.
understandable power of just verbalizing things, even if it's to a mirror, to a tree.
Yeah.
Mm.
But when you can say
To a
it to someone
I
else,
like what you see. See how we're bringing this one back round now with the
we
tree
are,
thing.
we
And you're
are, we
right, and
are,
it is. They're great listeners, man, and they've been
they
around for a
are.
very long time. So they've seen a season or two,
We've
haven't they?
Seen it
seen it
all,
all.
seen it all.
Yes.
They have. But that's the thing. Whether you are answering your own questions in your head, or whether you're literally just thinking of the questions that you will eventually ask when you get the chance to be with someone else, it doesn't matter. Just verbalize it, or just think of it, and it's very liberating, I think.
Yeah,
I think
no,
I'm
it's really true.
gonna take a leaf out of your book, Steve. I'm gonna do some more verbalizing when it comes to the future.
Yeah.
Yes, if I've learned anything from today, it'll be that. Thank you.
Well, yeah, and I just love the fact that we are talking about leaves and trees and books, and I think it's almost if we were meant to share this. Three
Mm.
Welsh dads this evening. I very much enjoyed
Yes.
being a part of it, to be honest. You are you are far more, unfortunately, necessary than you think you possibly are, and you- people are fortunate that you're here, but the fact that you guys do this anyway comes from a place of, you know, it's a bit like when you ask yourself, do we, why do charities exist? Are we not advanced enough to look after everybody who calls this spinning ball of rock their home? Are we really that stupid still that we can't? And yet,
Mm.
you can't badmouth a charity because they're wonderful. And in the same way, why the fact that you guys exist is because doing what we are trying to do as parents, the lucky ones, is flipping hard. And people find it overwhelming. And that's okay because I found it overwhelming. But just because I feel like I've come out of being overwhelmed, um, that isn't to say, well, so should everyone else then. There might have been a time when I didn't come out of it the other side, and and you guys are so necessary. So please don't stop what you're doing. And yeah,
It's very kind of you. Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, I think it's. Well, I think I loved your comparison there between Welsh, Welsh therapy, and your own kind of mental health journey. There's similarities in both of them, and talking to people is also important. And secondly, we hope, me and Steffan hope that we can be role models to other parents, other men, that there's things that you can do, there's people you can talk to as
Yeah.
your role model to people who are trying to learn Welsh. Having those role models that you can relate to is just so important. One of the reasons why I was so keen on starting this podcast was I remember being a dad for the first time, and you kind of just you want to look for advice, but there's so little out there other than books maybe that kind of don't talk to you. And I remember finding one podcast about being a dad, and nothing against them. They were doing a great job, but they were, I'm going to generalize, they had posh English accents,
yeah.
and they were from a city, and that was just a barrier to being relatable to me. And having these role models that you can find connect to in some way, I think is really important. So yeah, thank you for being that role model for people going on journeys learning Welsh, and likewise, hopefully, we're role models to
And
people out
the
there.
deal goes straight back to you. Like I said to you before, you don't know how many people you've helped, and in a weird way, it's like, gosh, the fact that we exist is really sad. But if we need to exist, we are here, and you are filling that space. And look, there'll be people in the city who are listening to us three Welsh dads here just talking about this and go, I can't. What's idiothy in English? So I can't identify. I can't
Relate.
Yeah,
relate to that at all, and
Mm.
it's okay. That's good. There will be someone out there for you. Um, and yeah, it's just important that you just keep your eyes open because you never know when something comes along that could change your life for the better. And be warm and welcoming for that when it comes. But I have no doubt that you guys will have done that for people. And please don't stop.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
I
Thank
would
you
like
so
to end on finding a something that you, Stephen, and you, Stefan, are proud of in your parenting journey, just to help other people reflect on something that they might feel proud of. It can be something small, something big, but is there anything that you'd be willing to share about a proud moment recently or in your parenting journey?
well. I shall let Stephen, our guest, go first because I can't think of anything right now. But
But you make a point because I would struggle as well because it's it's so difficult
it is.
to first define what pride is and then also to allow yourself to feel that. Um, because you might do something that someone else might seem, it might be mundane to them or easy or whatever, but you're pretty proud of it. And in some ways, you worry that you say, well, if I'm proud of this and someone else goes, well, I haven't reached that yet. Am I not
Mm.
as good? So, I'm not knocking your question, Glenn. I think it's a beautiful question. We should celebrate each other. Um, I'm always a bit iffy around the word pride, though, because I don't know. I see a lot of it battered around. And again, I am not the perfect parent, and I hear a lot of parents, some kid will say, I read my first word today, and actually no, that is a really proud thing. When people say things like, when a kid does something just really normal that they should do, and then they get told, "Oh, I'm so proud of you," and you're like, "So where? What?" I feel a bit like, oh, I feel like I've got to save pride. You know what I mean? I'm happy, and you make me happy, and that is class. But 5 years in, and I haven't said it to him yet, and that doesn't mean I'm not proud of him and the little boy he's becoming, and the gentle, kind soul he is becoming. I am very proud, but I'm yet to say it to his face. I am just proud that I've managed to keep two small humans alive, as well as myself, and that so far they smile more than they cry, and they seem pretty happy. So I am just proud to, oh man, exist in the same universe as them two little boys, and the
Oh,
fact that I get to spend so much time with them, it is by hap and chance, but I'm taking it every moment as it comes, and just being very, very grateful that I get this opportunity in the first place. So there you go.
I
I
love
mate,
it.
I just don't shut up, do I?
Do you know what? That was a wonderful answer. I'm not going to be able to top it. And I think,
Well,
yes.
you can by saying anything, really, to be honest. I don't know. I don't even know if there was anything coherent in there, Steph.
Right, there was lots. There was lots, honestly. All I could think of is with my children, usually in the mornings, I have to tell them, right, I'm supposed to push it down there, time to brush your teeth, which is normal. I tell them to do it, and they'll usually do it after a little bit of toing and throwing. But
Yeah, yeah.
now they're starting to do it quite independently without having to
Whoa.
be told. So,
You have
yes.
reached the pinnacle, Steph. How
Yeah.
do you do? Teach me everything.
So yeah, I feel like that's something I'm quite happy with, something that I feel like they are doing themselves without being told, and it's lovely to see. Yes, it is good to see.
See how you said happy instead of proud, though?
Yeah, I do. I certainly do. Yes,
It's almost as if we're not allowing
I know.
ourselves
I
to.
totally agree. It's so hard. I find it hard. I
It's
genuinely
awful,
do.
isn't it?
Yeah,
You should be
Well,
proud, mate. That is
I
flipping
know.
class. I don't even brush my own teeth.
uh,
No, mate,
I'm
you've
not.
you, you've smashed it there, man. It
Thanks,
seems
buddy.
so silly, but you've
That's
made a new human realize the importance of hygiene. And it sounds
that's
so silly,
amazing.
but you've done that.
Made my day, buddy. You really have.
Hey,
Thank you. That's good to
I'm
hear.
just gonna go to sleep jealous of you now.
Well, that's good to
the
hear.
question was by no means there to divide or make comparisons, but it's an
No.
interesting word. I use it a lot in kind of talking to men, fathers, and it either is a word that men are comfortable sharing emotions with,
Mm,
whereas otherwise, if you spoke about different emotions, they can't connect with. But pride is quite a masculine um, word sometimes, and people can talk about like a proud moment. Doesn't matter what it is to those, or it highlights to you and myself that we don't often allow ourselves to be proud of the little things that we do. And for me, my little thing was my little boy, my 3-year-old, was
mm.
sick last night, and it was just I'm pretty proud of being able to clean
Sort
all
it
the
out.
bed in, put up
Ah,
with
that's
being thrown up over lack of sleep, and yeah, just something small, but it
we've been
is
there, buddy.
those challenging times. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you
that's
very
good.
much. Thank you very much.
Mate, it's so
Um,
so important. It's the problem I have is I romanticize. I feel like women do this better than us, where they think about potentially being lucky enough to have a child in the future a lot more than we do. And whenever we do, we just think, I'm going to play football or rugby, and we're just going to play around, and I'm going to be, and we do those things well. We don't ever take those moments, perhaps naively, in fact, definitely naively. But there are nappies to be changed, there are bums to be cleaned, and tears to be wiped, and you've got to be calm and kind and model what you need them to be, and there's sick to be cleaned up. And these are things that we just really don't think about because all we want to do is go, God, I'm buying a football straight away. And we're kicking, they're like, he's 2 days old. I know, but he can kick a ball. I know he can, and they can't. And so we are awful at that. So you raised something very important, Clint. So fair play to you.
No, thank you very much for sharing, and thank you very much for talking open and honestly.
It's been wonderful.
It's been amazing having you on, and yeah, thanks for highlighting such an important language, important culture to people around the world. Keep doing what you're doing.
I shall do my best, boys. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
Diolch i ti, Steve.
Yeah, diolch yn fawr for tuning in to today with Doctor Cymraeg. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow parents. We'll be back next week with more stories, laughs, and honest chats. Until then, take care of yourselves and keep being good. Nos da.
Basta.